Wouldn't it be cool if Jira could automatically push your release notes from Jira into Slack? Well, my good friends over at AdminBoys have the perfect template for you. And if you've been following along with my other AdminBoys videos, then you know that they have some really cool ways to integrate your release notes with other tools. And today we're going to be focusing in on their Slack integration and showing you how easy it is to get your release notes from Jira and into Slack. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. Drop a like if you get value out of this video. And don't forget to check out those links down below, as you definitely want to start a free 30-day trial to this pretty cool app. Now let's jump into Jira and let me show you how easy it is to configure all of this. All right, so the first thing we want to do is we want to go to our apps. Obviously, you want to have automated release notes already installed on your computer, but assuming it's installed, you're going to go to apps, click on automated release notes and reports. Once it loads, we're going to go over to templates. So within templates here, we're simply going to click the create button over here, and then we have to pick our template. Now, because we're focusing on Slack, you might have guessed we're going to do Slack. So once you do that, click select over here. And now this is going to load up a template of sorts that you're going to be building in this video with me. Now, full disclosure, I am going to be dropping links in the description down below that have written and a different video tutorial that is going to walk you through all the intricate steps. I'm just going to give you the high level overview to give you a warm fuzzy feeling of how this all works and just show to you how easy it is to configure. So let's just do some basic configurations with this template. So the first thing we want to confirm is the template type. Make sure that this says Slack, then give it a name. So we're going to do Slack release notes integration demo. All right. And if you're on the paid version, which I'm not, but if you were, you can do levels and remove some of the branding. Now, what you do want to focus though is the Slack message. So this section here will basically create the message that is going to either automatically or manually be pushed into Slack depending on your preference. And so I'm going to walk you through some of the configurations that you need to know here, kind of show you how this structure is all configured, and then do a little bit of configuration myself. And then I'm going to ultimately show you just how easy it is to get this information over to Slack. So let me show you how easy this is. So the first thing is we have a header. This is essentially just what is the header of this message, right? What are we going to be pushing into Slack? What's at the very, very top? And so you can put basically whatever you want here. You do have variables. So if you wanted to add like the project name, the project ID, version names, version description, anything from here, you can basically just add it into your header here and customizes whatever way you want. Now I'm going to leave the defaults for this one. So I'm just going to click on cancel, but that's what the header is. Up next, we have context. So this is again just some variables or some extra information that provides right below the header what it is we're looking at. And so right now we just have the variable for release date. We can, if you go over to plain text, add more variables here. And then you also have the option to add the variables plus also markdown, which allows you to really get very creative, right? So you can make items bold, you can italicize things, you can do line breaks and things of that nature. So you can really, really get creative here. And you can also add some images. And so you have a couple of options for images. Again, check out those links in the description for more details on how to use all these specific functionalities. But I'm just going to leave the defaults for now and click cancel. And then we have a divider, and you're going to notice that I have divider in quite a few areas here. And all the divider is doing is it will basically divide sections of your release notes that we're going to be seeing in Slack. So I'll show you what a demo of that looks like in a bit. But the dividers are just general good to have just in order to stay organized, right? Make it look a little bit better. Otherwise, you're going to have a blob of text. And so that's not easy to follow. So make sure you follow along with some dividers, right? I'm just going to leave the defaults there, and then that's it. Now, we're almost getting to the good parts. So we're going to cover over two more things, and then I'm going to show you the demo inside of Slack. So up next is section. So once you've done your header, once you've done like a little, this is what these notes are, you now get to basically create the first section of your release notes. Now, this is where you can get into some much more detail, right? Beyond the header, beyond that context, this is like, hey, these are the release notes, right? And so here we can see that we have a couple more variables. We have a summary, we have the project, the version, the release date. And then you'll notice that we have a line of the Jira issues, because up to this point, you're probably wondering, well, where are all the issues at, right? Well, we'll get to that in a second, right? And similar to the previous section for context, you have the ability to just do plain text, or you can do some markdowns. These little asterisks mean things, right? And so you have the option, if you're comfortable with markdown, it's something you use, to leverage those here. Now we could also add a link button. Again, I'll link everything down below so you can see in detail what those do, but you can add that as well. Again, I'm just gonna leave the defaults because I don't wanna change anything. I think it has all the right information that I want. Now, for the grand finale, the JQL section. This is probably the most important part because what this is going to do, this is going to go and grab the issues. In this particular case, I'm making a section for stories. We can add a description, but the JQL here, this is the most important part. As you can see, this is going to go grab the project, the issue types where it equals story, and specifically for that fixed version that we're going to select in just a few moments. We can add an additional message over here. For example, if no stories are included, we can have that as well. And again, very similar to the other ones, you have the options for markdown or plain text, but that's what you essentially have to configure in this section. You'll notice we also have fields. So if you want to bring in different fields, these are the default ones that are shipping with this product here. So if you wanted to add something like the assignee or the due date or whatever other field you have inside of Jira, this is where we would do it. So let's add the assignee here. Okay, we have our assignee. I'm gonna click on add. That'll be added there, but we're not quite done yet. Once you add the field, the JQL is gonna retrieve it, but we wanna display it. So you wanna click on layout over here, and we wanna basically just copy this line here, and then we're gonna do assignee and curly brace, and that's it, okay? Now that we have that, we are now going to be able to hit insert. And if you are not sure how to spell assignee, you can just copy paste the text from up here. But we'll click on insert because we now want this to be inside of our template. And then as you can see, we have other dividers and other JQL sections. If I click on these are going to be for improvements if you have any, right? If you don't have any, you can just delete it, right? You can just click here and hit delete. I don't have any improvements, but let's say maybe you have some bugs or something, right? You can, let's just bring bugs. Let's rename this one to bugs, and we're going to change the issue type from task to bug. So we'll do that. We'll hit insert. I'm just going to leave the defaults again for everything else. And that's it. So once you have this, you now have two options. Okay. You're obviously going to want to save it. So I'm going to hit save here real quick. But once it's saved, you can either preview it, which is what we're going to do, or you can create a rule that will automatically be pushing your release notes out to Slack. But in the context of this video, I'm just going to show you the preview because it's really, really easy. So once we have this template set up, again, this doesn't really do anything. The magic happens in the next step here. So I'm going to click on preview. Once I click on that preview, this is going to basically generate code. And this is going to be code that we're going to be putting into Slack. Now you do want to have some sort of Slack privileges in order to be able to do this. So make sure you try this out before you get too excited. So first thing you're going to want to do is select your project. So I'm just going to select this project that we've been using in the past. You're going to pick your version. So I'm just going to pick version 1.0. And then I'm going to hit preview. And when I do that, that's going to go and auto create all that code that we're going to want to then embed. So if we keep scrolling down, all the way down, you're going to see that there's a copy to clipboard. So we're going to click on that. And then you're going to notice that there's a Slack bot kit builder. So you're going to want to click on that. And that's going to open up a new tab, which is then going to take us to Slack. Now, you do need to essentially connect to Slack. So make sure you are connecting and authenticating to your Slack channels. I'm going to change it to my Slack in which I want to do this. I'm going to take all this text here, delete that, get rid of all of that. I don't want any of this text. And then I'm going to paste in that code that I just hit copy to clipboard. And as you can see here on the left-hand side, we're going to see all the stories that are in this release, right? So I apparently didn't have any bugs in here, but I do have some stories, and here they are. Here's that section that we covered at the beginning, and then we have the context, and then we have the header, right? So this is our beautiful notes. So all we need to do at this point is send it to Slack. So when I click this button, now I have to pick a channel in which I'm going to put these in. So I'm going to look for a channel that I have for release note demo. I'm going to click on send. And once you do that, we're going to slide on over to Slack over here, and we're going to go to our release notes demo. And as you can see here, as I scroll up, here is my release notes, and here's today. Here's the time, 7:56, which is right when I recorded this, right? And you can see here's the release notes. And there you go. That's how easy it is to get your release notes from Jira into Slack. Again, check out those links down in the description. I am on the free version of this app, so I have a couple of limitations, but obviously you're going to be on the paid one, so you're going to have everything, including the ability to automatically send your release notes from Jira into Slack. Now, I just did the preview for the purpose of this video, but again, if you have the right licenses, you're going to be able to just automatically send everything, and all those details are covered in that description down below. So check out those articles, check out that other video, and that's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. I definitely do like this though. If you are a team that is using Slack, this is going to be a very, very easy and intuitive way to customize your release notes and put them in channels to keep your team always informed. And one of the cool triggers that you can actually do is whenever a version is released, it'll just automatically push it to Slack for you. So really, really cool stuff. Really, really enjoyed this app. So make sure you download it, give them a free 30-day trial, and we'll see you in the next video.